What's up, dudes? It's been a little while since our last Mortal Kombat 11 video, simply because there was a whole bunch of stuff that seemed to be dropping, leaking, if not information popping up everywhere, and then all of a sudden it kind of stopped at the end of the year, presumably because everyone had that time off, but now things are going to start getting a little crazy. In just over a week, the Mortal Kombat 11 gameplay reveal is going to be happening in Southern California, I believe, as well as the UK. And if you have gotten tickets to that stuff, if you haven't gotten invites, I suggest looking into it as soon as possible if you're in the area. But luckily, with myself and my friends all loving Mortal Kombat, it's going to be one of our biggest priorities coming up in 2019. Now, there's a lot of things we're really looking forward to the game in terms of gameplay and stuff that come back from MKX and adjustments from Injustice 2, and hopefully they learn things, which I do want to make a video about before we get there. But there was a couple of cool things that popped up, some new renders of characters, some things that are going to be happening on this channel, and the platforms the game is going to be released on, because considering what it's coming out on, yeah, that's a lot different than many of the previous NetherRealm games. First and foremost, what's happening on the channel, of course, we're going to be doing a Mortal Kombat Legacy, visiting as many Mortal Kombat games, classic, new, and old, and revisiting some of those ones that you haven't seen a lot. I do definitely want to go back and play Mortal Kombat X's story. We're revisiting Mortal Kombat 9's story right now, and I'm kind of learning and adapting to how much fun that game really is. But there's other things. We have to go through Shaolin Monks, we have to check out the PlayStation 2 games alongside that. There is a lot of stuff we need to check out, and some weird ones in between all of that, so don't worry, I'll be getting Kenny and Steve in on that because they are the Mortal Kombat experts, and it'll be great to go through all that crazy stuff like we did back 5 years ago or something when we did the old Mortal Kombat Legacy. But stay tuned for that. Of course, we're going to be playing a whole bunch more of Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat X because they have the best online in terms of many of the games. And I'm very much looking forward to going back and playing more characters than I usually do in MKX and learning brand new ones in MK9. So it's coming, don't worry. But outside of what's going on this channel, there was another render that came out of a character. You might have remembered there was some pre-order bonuses that they were talking about in terms of what you can get. Shao Kahn, we all know, is the pre-order bonus character for this game, similar to the one we got in Mortal Kombat X, which was Goro, and then Darkseid in Injustice 2. They're pretty much doing the exact same thing all over again. Previously, he was shown in some Shogun-style armor, and this time we actually got to see the character in a full high-quality render. This really doesn't have much more information to it. I mean, the only thing we can really definitely see is the crazy dragon skin and dragon-scaled arm on his left arm. And that we already presumed and were talking about from the reveal trailer when we first saw Shao Kahn. Maybe some connection to Onaga, maybe some resurrection process in terms of the other characters. The big thing I do want to mention, though, and I think I mentioned it before, there's a good chance that Shao Kahn might not be pivotal to the story of Mortal Kombat 11. Now, the same thing happened with Mortal Kombat X. Goro wasn't really prominent in the story in that game, and Darkseid wasn't really the main bad guy in Injustice 2. That went to Brainiac. And I think that's going to be the exact same thing here, which is unfortunate because I would love to see more about the resurrection, if not the crazy ways that Shao Kahn could make his way back from Mortal Kombat 9. I think that'd be really cool because Shao Kahn is the shining bad guy in Mortal Kombat history, in my personal opinion, and Shinnok was a bit lacking in MKX. And the PS2 overall bad guys are iffy to say the least. I think Onaga is the second most compelling. So I'm kind of curious to see what path they're going to take in MK11 to make a compelling bad guy, to make for cool boss fights, you know what I mean? And if Shao Kahn is a part of that, that's amazing. I hope they actually integrate this character into ladders and stuff of the like. But at the same time, I'm thinking they're not going to do that. I'm thinking Shao Kahn is going to be specifically just as a bonus. This is like a what-if kind of character. And let's hope I'm wrong on that one because this looks really damn cool. I just want to see this guy in a boss fight. In terms of what's happening in the image, there's not much to say other than the fact that we get to see his cool armor and everything, but he is wielding a hammer. We all know Shao Kahn wields a hammer. His moveset is kind of generic from the previous games, with shoulders and rushes and up rushes and things of the like. I'm curious to see how they can make Shao Kahn a more interesting character to play as, because he's usually not a playable character in many of the Mortal Kombat games, and his moveset is a little dry, so I think giving him the weapon to actually, cement his playstyle and give him more that he can do, and the fact that he is holding a weapon, similar to what we saw with Scorpion doing in the trailer with different types of ninja swords, and we saw Raiden using spears and the like when he picked them up off the ground. I think that's going to be a big part of MK11, is the different types of weapons that characters can use. Whether or not that ties into variations and whatnot, this just solidifies that theory that we're going to be seeing a lot more weapons that characters will be using. which also ties back into the games that were after Mortal Kombat 4, which was kind of like Mortal Kombat X in terms of story and pacing. I think we're going to see characters get weapons, and that was another big style change thing that happened in the PS2 versions of the game, so don't be surprised if he's not going to be just using the hammer of some kind. He's probably going to have more stuff, but let's hope it's really cool and really fun. And last but not least, the biggest one, and the one we all know about, Mortal Kombat 11 is going to be on the Nintendo Switch. It's about to be 10 years since Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which is the last mainline Mortal Kombat game, was on a Nintendo system. However, it's not the last NetherRealm Studios game. That would go to Injustice, which did show up on the Wii U, if you did get a chance to play that. So this is a big deal. Usually these guys kind of stray away from Nintendo consoles, not opting to put MKX on the previous generation, which didn't end up happening and actually ended up getting scrapped. This could mean a lot of things, and the reason I'm going to make this a talking point now is because I'm confident in what I'm about to say, even though it is an absolute ass-balls crazy theory. I know it's gonna sound nuts, but I think there is a small chance for a Mortal Kombat character to show up in Smash Brothers. I don't know if there's any other evidence that have popped up lately. I know there's been leaks and data mining around the new Smash game that have sort of confirmed and sort of deconfirmed characters that people were thinking were gonna be in it. But this is a theory that we've had from E3, if you remember how that went. They are holding Mortal Kombat for potentially the biggest announcement and reveal of all, that MK is returning to Nintendo after since the Wii with Armageddon, which is over like 10 years. If that happens, they in tandem right after jump into Smash, and the big reveal character for Smash is Sub-Zero, and yes, Sub-Zero got a whole bunch of shit. Mortal Kombat 11 is actually announced at the Nintendo Direct on Switch and everything else. It's for everything else. And they tie that in with a reveal that Sub-Zero is in Smash Brothers. And of course, Mortal Kombat 11 didn't show up at E3. We were thinking it was going to have a chance of showing up at the Nintendo press conference after it wasn't at Sony's, but that didn't happen either. Instead, they were waiting all the way until the end of the year for the Game Awards and the Nintendo reveal. So, with that being said, I was telling Kenny, if this game comes out on Switch, because we all knew MK11 was coming around that time frame, if this game was coming out on Switch, I told him, I think I'm going full in. I think this crazy theory you have might actually have some clout to it, because we did post several different things that were sort of leading us to believe that Sub-Zero or maybe a character like that could be in Smash based on Ed Boon tweets and other hints from developers and things like that. I'm kind of sticking to my guns on this one, and I know it's a crazy theory, and I know we have a pretty good batting record when it comes to things that happen, and I take good guesses based on what I'm hearing. This one isn't really based on anything outside of a big personal hunch, and I think there's a good chance that with the inclusion of Mortal Kombat 11 on Switch, that there is a good chance that we're going to see an MK character show up on Smash Brothers at some point as a guest, and I think it'll be Sub-Zero. I think Sub-Zero fits that game a lot more, just because his graphic nature isn't as prevalent as a character like Scorpion, who stabs and pulls and stabs some more. Sub-Zero freezes you, and he does ice clones, and he throws those ice clones, and he slides. I think that can fit Smash Brothers a bit better in terms of tonality. So, I would love to see that, man. I think they did a great job with Sub-Zero in Injustice 2, and there's even been several hints at Sub-Zero from Ed Boon after Injustice. So I really hope. I think that would be something that would set the world on fire. It might get more people to play Mortal Kombat. It might get more people to play Smash. Either way, I think it's just amazing news, and the thing that I have... the thing that I really want to hope is that if that happens, if Sub-Zero or a Mortal Kombat character makes an appearance in Smash Brothers, he or she will be fighting alongside Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter. So even though we never got Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter, like the dream crossover that everyone's wanted to see since the 90s, it could happen in Smash Brothers. That's all I got right now, guys. Thank you a ton for hanging out with me. That's a crazy theory. Don't hold me to that one, but I'm going to hold myself to it. That'll go against the batting record. And I'm really excited to see Shao Kahn in the game. I want to see more of what he can do, and hopefully he'll be playable at the community reveal event. And stay tuned, because that community reveal event is going to be crazy. It's just over a week away. I'm going to do my best to potentially live stream from there, but you better believe I'll be using my high-quality capture equipment to capture a bunch of gameplay and characters and as much as I possibly can, and get it rendered out in the highest quality on YouTube. Thank you guys a ton for watching. A bunch more MK to come soon. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.